Hi, guys. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, guys. Welcome to the Sunday Talk Show. I am Marlene. I am the content creator for Living Your Best Life. And today I'm going to be talking on the subject of disrespect. So, of course, I got to shout out my members, all the members of the Best Life crew. Beverly Black, Boss Life Online, Tony Clopton, Melissa King, My Econ, Van Life with Gina, Edward Smart, Tracy Ocean Fire 777, Be Amazing Sylvia, Marlin Music Channel, Pittsburgh Artist Studio, Pandy's Hair Candy and More, Dunamis Sound Mind Services, Bozo Calvin Jr., Barry Johnson, Team Build with Geo, and Thrill Seeks. Welcome, everybody. So, we're going to get started. And of course, we have to start with the channel song. Like and share, guys.
Be encouraged, be inspired, be yourself, you will survive. Just know it, just breathe it, and be it, and live your best life.
Hi, guys. How is everybody doing? Welcome to the Sunday Talk Show. I'm Marlene. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope everybody's doing good. Thank you so much for coming to the show. I apologize for my lateness. I lost track of time. So let me welcome everybody in the chat. I have Miss, I'm not going to get it right. I'm just going to call her Miss TV. Welcome, Miss TV. Hi, Boss Life Online. Hey, Patricia. Hey, Van Life with Gina. How are you? Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming, guys. Hey, Edward. How are you? Thank you so much for coming. I hope everybody's doing great today. Yes, guys. So I just wanted to talk about this topic because I think it's one that's really important. One about, respect, because a lot of people have different views about what respect is, and they really don't know what really respect is. So I'm just going to put the file up here for a second. Today's topic is stop the disrespect. That is so important, to stop disrespect. And we're going to talk about how. And if you guys have something that you want to share in the chat, you're always welcome to drop it down in the comment section. Thank you so much. So the topic is stopping disrespect, but how do we stop that cycle of disrespect? We have 5 steps here. So the first one is determine that the disrespectful behavior will end with you. I'll say it again. We have to determine that the disrespectful behavior will end with you. So oftentimes it helps us to recognize, that you're not able to resolve things. Some things are just not resolvable. So you'll need some outside help, maybe from someone like a supervisor, because, if you retaliate any of the investigating authorities, they might end up confused as to who's in the wrong. So it's so important for you to stop the disrespectful behavior with you. And sometimes that means that you have to bring in an outside party. It could be outside party on the job. It could be an outside party, maybe somebody outside of the situation, maybe who doesn't know anything about the two of you, right? So we have to learn to have the type of conversations that we stand our ground. We respect ourselves first, because when something is not going right, when we don't like the conversation, the way people are treating us, we have to stand up for ourselves. And we have to have that kind of love for ourselves, that we're not going to stand for it. We're not going to take the disrespect. And we have to let people know that the disrespect stops right here and right now. And you have to put your foot down and respect yourself. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Yes, Patricia, it is facts, because so many people out there, they will push you until they can't push you anymore. It's so important for you to have boundaries with people who don't know when things are too much. They don't know when it's time to say when, like, respect other people's boundaries, especially people's time. So it's important to apologize, to say you're sorry, to not just think everything has to go your way. And I think sometimes that is one of the things that you have to put your foot down and let people know, I'm not going to tolerate the disrespect. You're not going to talk to me this way, because I'm not going to allow it. You have to make those boundaries in the beginning of all relationships. It does not matter if it's on the job, if it's with family members, if it's with friends, if it's with whoever it is. How you start a relationship is how it's going to continue. So that's why it's important from the beginning. If you meet up with someone who's being very disrespectful, you have to let them know right away, this disrespect is going to stop right here and right now. And you have to tell people, you have to express that and say, I don't like what you said. I don't like what you did. It did not make me feel good. So please don't do that anymore. So you have to put your foot down. Yes, Boss Life Online. It is so true, because so many people will say, I don't like things, but then their actions show up a different way. They will say they don't like certain things, but then they keep allowing people. And we have to evaluate ourselves also in that. Are we allowing people to disrespect us by, allowing things that is not right? There's so many times people will do things to us and we don't like it. And you may mumble to yourself, or you may tell somebody else, but you never confront that person. Have a private conversation with that person and let them know what you did. I did not like it. I didn't like how it made me feel. And I don't want you to do that anymore, because if you do, you have to let people know this is the consequence of it. I won't deal with you anymore. I'm going to go to up the chain of command. Maybe I'm going to speak to a manager. I'm going to block you if it's here on YouTube. If you tell people how you feel about something and then they don't care, it doesn't matter anything to them, that's when you have to escalate for yourself and block people. Sometimes you have to block people out of your life. And also, if it's family members, even friends, if they continuously disrespect you, you have to be the one to end that cycle. And sometimes that means that you have to block people, friends and family, to protect your own heart, to protect your own sanity, because we deserve better than disrespect. You can't allow people to disrespect you, because it becomes a cycle. Once people see that they can push you and keep taking advantage of you, it will always continue. So that's why you have to stand up and stand firm and say, don't do that. Don't talk to me that way. Don't treat me that way. Don't ignore me. Don't whatever it is that they're doing. And in that way, people will know how they should treat you, because we have to understand, you train people how you're going to be treated. It's a whole training. This is something that maybe you didn't grow up knowing, but the way that you talk to people, your reactions to things, all shows who you are. And people will know, oh, I can get away with that. I can do whatever I want with this person. I can do this. I can play a game. People know, just like Pinocchio, the strings, they know how to manipulate and how to use you if you don't stand up for yourself and say, stop. this is going to end and I'm not going to allow it. This ends right here and right now. Yes, Boss Life Online, it is so true. Yeah, it's some people you just have to leave them alone. It's something that I think, you know, being a person, especially if you're a person who's a loving person, you're a kind person, you kind of give people some wiggle room, and let them know, okay, maybe they were having a bad day. You can give people a few chances. And it depends on the situation. Okay, maybe they did this, maybe they're having a bad day, maybe this, maybe that, but you can't continuously make excuses for people. Some people, it's a personality trait. Some people, it's a mental health issue. They have some mental illness. So you can't just excuse behavior, because when you're an adult, you have to learn to be responsible for your actions. And in that, if you always coddle people, you always allow people to do things, it's going to continue in a cycle, and not in a good way, because that's poisonous and toxic to you. And when you value yourself and when you love yourself, you know that you are deserving of better than that. So that's why you have to put up a boundary and say, I am not going to allow this. I am not going to allow people to treat me this way. And this is why, because I deserve better. And you have to repeat that to yourself. I deserve better. I am worth better. So I am not going to allow that. And just like old school Patricia says, you have to leave some people alone. And there is a saying that some people in our lives are seasonal people. I did not learn this until I got older, until I went through therapy. It's when I found out some people come in your life for a season and a reason. So some people come just to heal, maybe to help you to get through a certain period of time in your life, or to teach you something, for you to learn a life lesson. And then that's it. Not all relationships that you have is meant to continue. And that's what we have to learn. Just because we care about somebody, and you may love somebody and really care about them, but if they aren't loving you back, if they aren't being considerate of your feelings, your needs, respecting you, respecting your time, then that means it's time to pull back, or even completely cut those people off. Some relationships cannot be saved because of disrespect. And you have to know that. You can't allow people to disrespect you and for you to continuously forgive it and okay it. There's some things, you can forgive, but there are some things that you cannot allow people to be in a cycle of disrespect, because once it starts, it's going to always continue. You have to know that it's always going to continue. So value yourself and set those boundaries. Old school Patricia says, if they continue, leave them be. Yeah, I understand. There's all kinds of different personality traits out there. So many personality traits, different personalities, different cultural backgrounds. We don't know the kind of things that people have been through. Some people haven't healed from circumstances, and sometimes maybe because of your childhood, the circumstances of your life, the way you were raised, situations that you've been through, the hurt, the pain, and the struggle, why some people react certain ways. But we can't allow things as adults. We have to learn about accountability. We have to be accountable for our own actions, which means that you can't always just say, oh, it's okay, I forgive you. It's okay, I forgive you. Because that does not teach people to grow up, to be respectful of others, to be kind, to learn lessons. Because that's what helps you to grow up, to mature, to grow, to expand, to learn about different cultures and people. Because some people only want you to go this far, some people this far. So everybody is not in the same boat. So you have to learn those lessons, and you have to learn how to deal with different people in different ways. Because there is a book called The Love Languages. Not everybody you know, shows love in the same way. Some people are people who only care about getting things. If you buy them, that's a sign that you love them. If you spend time with them, some people need those words of affirmation. So it depends on a person's love language. That also shows how they're going to talk to you, how they're going to treat you. But also in that, no matter what a person's love language, you cannot allow people to be disrespectful either to you, your family members, or your friends, all in the name, of love. And people will throw those words out there really easily and say, I love you. But love is an action word. What do the actions show behind it? What are the actions? Because words are easy. It's easy to speak words out of our mouth, but it is the action. How are you backing up what you say? Do you really mean what you say? And this is something that I want to speak to you guys about. We have to learn that we can't just go by what people say or listen to things that other people will say about other people, because we all know that you have different relationships maybe with people, and they may have friends and your family and all of these different dynamics. But we have to learn that just because other people say things and they're not getting along with others, it does not mean that you can't have your own relationship with that person. We have to learn the boundaries and what is right, what is working, right? We have to learn what is working for us. And sometimes maybe we outgrow people because of situations when you go through, when you learn different experiences. Sometimes you just outgrow people and you have to learn, okay, this relationship is not serving me. So we have to learn also that maybe sometimes the season has ended for that relationship. The season has ended for that friendship. The season has ended for that romantic relationship, those romantic encounters, because maybe sometimes what you wanted going into a friendship and a relationship, maybe now because of different things, different situations, things that you've learned, your personal growth, sometimes we outgrow people. And I have heard so many times people have said, oh, that person thinks that they're all of that. They don't talk to me anymore. Sometimes it's not that they don't want to talk to you anymore, but sometimes you don't have anything in common. You may outgrow that relationship because of the things that maybe you used to do, maybe when you were 20 and you were going out and you're having fun and you're partying. Maybe by the time you get to be 25 years old, you are in a different zone. And then you may have those friends that still want to do those same things. So that's like what I was saying in line with it. Sometimes you outgrow people. And it doesn't mean that you don't care for them, but sometimes the relationship stops serving you and it may be time for you to move on and find other friends. But also in everything, we have to learn in respect. You can't just avoid people completely. You can't just be rude to other people just because maybe you've outgrown the relationship. You can just say, I'm really grateful for all of the fun, all the times that we had, but I think it's time for me to move on. I think our relationship has served its time. I think the season for our friendship or our relationship has ended. So that's what you do when you're mature. You have conversations and you tell people how you feel. You tell people when they hurt your feelings. I know that it's something maybe back a long time ago, maybe the old school way. The old school way is when somebody would do something, they would hurt your feelings. They would say something behind your back, and then you would just hold it, and you would never talk to people about how you felt. That's not what you do when you're mature. You have the conversation. Thank you, Edward. Hey, Miss Full Roller, how are you? Welcome in. Happy Sunday to you. Thank you so much for coming. Boss Life Online says, yes, I grew girlfriends of mine. She was doing stuff that I did not want to, like the clubs. I had moved on and wanted my own business. We talked about a year ago. She still is stuck. Hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things that happens sometimes in a relationship. Like I was saying, sometimes you just outgrow people, and it's okay. It's okay for you to move on with your life. And you'll find that the more you start doing certain things and your growth potential is growing, you're growing emotionally, spiritually, financially, things are just coming to you. There's some people that don't want to make any changes. There's some people that, you know, they want to stay stuck in that. Some people like the things to stay the same. Some people don't like to make any changes. They don't want to try anything. And if you're a person that you want to try things and they don't, it's not that you don't care about that person. It's just you don't have anything in common, and sometimes you just got to move on. And like Boss Life Online, she outgrew that relationship. She was still the same person even after she saw her about a year later. And sometimes that's the reason why you just have to move on and find yourself some new friends. Yes, you can outgrow a relationship. You can. Especially if it was something, because I know personally myself, I know before I was going to therapy, I used to always be, mad all the time and fussing about every single thing, and the world is against me. And then when I started working on myself, I started realizing that I was doing things. I was learning to be accountable for myself. So when you expand your mind, when you expand your growth potential, when you expand who you are. No sound, Patricia? I have sounds. Am I muted, guys? I don't see that I'm muted. You guys let me know. No, my volume is all the way up. I didn't mute, Patricia. I think that may be on your end. So yes, so I agree with that, Edward Smart. I outgrew a romantic relationship. I thought I was going to be in forever, but that person was stuck too. Jeez, I know. Yeah, and I think sometimes maybe you get comfortable in a relationship. I know that's a whole different topic, but sometimes we get comfortable in a relationship that maybe you just get used to doing the same things, and then maybe that stops serving you. Maybe you don't want to do that anymore. Maybe you want to try new things, and maybe you want to do other things, and they don't. They're happy doing the same thing for the rest of your life, and you're not. So, that's just what happens sometimes as you mature, as you grow as a person. You just outgrow people sometimes. Yeah, Patricia, I have sound because I'm just looking on my tablet and I have sound. So I think it may be on your end. Maybe you're muted, or maybe you need to refresh. Yeah, Boss Life Online says she can hear me. Yeah, refresh, old school Patricia. Yo, you can hear? Okay. Oh, I sound fine? Okay, thank you. I hope you can hear soon, Patricia. Thank you, Edward. Hey, Rochelle's blessing. Welcome in. How are you? Thank you so much for coming, joining on the conversation. And you guys are welcome to also share in the chat times maybe when you were disrespected and how you felt. How did you deal with the situation? Okay, good, Patricia. Thank you so much. Yeah, that happens sometimes. The computers can mute for a moment. Yeah, so let me go into number 2. I'm looking in my notes that I took. So, number two, take some time away before you respond. And this is 5 steps to end the cycle of disrespect. So, number two, take some time away before you respond. So, allow yourself enough time for the retaliation impulse to subside. So, deep breathe. Tell the person that you're going to think about what they've brought up and excuse yourself. That's very vital when you get disrespected, because sometimes you'll be on a high, what they call being on 10, and you'll be ready to attack the person. But sometimes you have to step back or step away just so that you can get your thoughts together. You have to remember that once words come out of our mouth, you can't take back what you say. So that's why it's important when you get to a point where somebody has upset you, maybe they said something insensitive to you, but instead of you just reacting just like that, snapping back at a person, maybe sometimes pull back before you make a response. Sit back and think for a little bit about what you want to say to make sure what you said is really what you want, what you're about to say is really what you mean to say. Because you can't get back. You can't take back what you say after it has been said. And we don't want to be a person that you say something hurtful and that causes somebody pain needlessly. So we have to take control. We have to take ownership and accountability for ourselves and make sure when we say something, we're sure this is what we want to say. And we're not just saying it out of just snapping back at a quick, witty reaction. And we really mean to say what we want to say. That's why I don't prescribe to the two becomes one thing. Each person is an individual and will always remain so. I think this is where a lot of this comes from. A culture or a society wants conformity. Yeah, it could be that, Miss Full Roller. So many people think that they can't have their own personality, and that can be a problem. Or sometimes it can be personality differences. There are some people who have that dominant, strong personality and can think that things have to be a certain way, black or white. It could be a gray area. Sometimes we have to give people room. We have to allow people room to their own opinion, to their own thinking. We have to allow people to have their own thinking. You can't control the way somebody else thinks. You can't control how somebody else reacts. The only thing that you can control is yourself. You can control your reaction, or if you choose to react, because sometimes the best reaction is no reaction. And that's how you can get people really confused when you make a choice to, I'm not going to even respond to it, because some things is just not even worth our energy, putting in our thoughts and our energy into something that is not going to even serve us. I like to say, I'm not going to raise my blood pressure for that. Some things is just not even worth your time, worth your effort, worth you even acknowledging it. You just say, please. Much of disrespect between individuals is culturally and societally sanctioned. Yeah, there are a lot of people that they just follow. Me and Boss Life Online have covered this before. Some people are just followers. If somebody says something is yellow, but you say it's yellow and then they say it's blue and everybody is saying it blue, some people have to follow that and think that that's what it is. But it depends on the personality. It depends on who you are. Have you learned to know yourself? Have you learned to love yourself? Have you learned to respect yourself? Have you set up boundaries? Do you have that kind of conversation and communicate with people when they let you down, when they hurt your feelings? We have to have these type of conversations as adults. And I do think a lot of times we go by our past And just because you have been doing things the same way your whole life does not make it right. Sometimes I want to scream that from the top of my lungs. Just because you are doing something this way all the time does not make it right. It does not make it acceptable. So you have to let people know, just because you want to do that or just because you like certain things doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it right. Hey, Donna, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you're doing good. You've been here from the beginning, busy cooking and listening to you. I agree. No reaction can be the best. That is how I do. I don't have time arguing with a fool. Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I say all the time, Donna, there's some times where people are just being ignorant or people want to have the last say. As an adult, I don't do the back and forth thing. If I already have made up my mind or I already believe in something, then that is the end of it. I'm not going any further. And that's the end of it. But some people are people who like to argue, and you can't change that. When arguing with a fool, you will stoop to the level of the fool. So now you have two fools going at it. Yeah, that happens all the time. You'll see people just going back and forth, but it's one of those things is nobody is willing to just say, enough is enough. I've had enough. And you have to get to that point when it comes to disrespect also. You have to value your own thoughts. You have to respect yourself and say, I'm not going to sink to their level. I'm not going to do this. No, we're not going back and forth. No, you're not going to talk to me that way. And that's when you just back away and take your leave. Sometimes you just have to take your leave, and that's how you show respect for yourself. Hey, Sugar Love, how are you? Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you're doing great today. I join in on this topic and discussion. What was a time where you were disrespected and how did you deal with it? So let's go on to point number 3. Looking in my notes, guys, hold on a second. So number 3 of the 5 steps to end the cycle of disrespect: face the fact that you have needs to be met. So when you find yourself wanting to reflect disrespectful behavior back to a person, it's a sign that you've been hurt, either professionally, logistically, or emotionally. Then retaliation happens. You have all of these things in your brain about what you're going to do in the future so you won't get hurt again. So you have to avoid giving into the cycle of disrespect by meeting your own needs. We can't look to others to meet and fulfill our needs. We have to fulfill ourselves. And that means that we have to meet our needs in more productive ways, like practicing self-care, redefining our relationships with other persons, and setting boundaries. Setting boundaries is so important in a relationship. You have to teach people how far they can go with you. If you don't put up things, if you don't set a standard and let people know how it's going to be, this is how it's going to be and nothing else, then the disrespect will come because you did not set a boundary. Toxic people love it when you go at it with them, enjoying seeing you stooping to their level. Remember to be classy. Don't lose it. If you want to lose it, don't let the toxic person see it. Yep, you're right, Donna. And if you do, they won. Yeah, that's exactly, because I have had co-workers and other people, even in romantic relationships, they want to go toe-to-toe with you. They want to, they want to get a rise. They get a rise by seeing you get upset. Don't give people that kind of power. We have to remember that in our mind, we have power and we have to choose whether we're going to respond to things or whether we're not. It's a choice. Just because people say things to you does not mean you have to have a response. You can cut people off and just say, that's it. Silence. Silence is one of the best things that you can do to a disrespectful person. They can never say you said anything. No response. No response. Yes, boundaries do give you peace of mind, Donna. So many people don't understand that. People will keep trying to push you, trying to, what is it called? Grind your gears. They're trying to find a way to get you amped up, make you say something or call them out of their name. People like that, but don't allow people to get that into you. Respect yourself. Respect your own thoughts. And just because you feel a certain way, you don't have to rationalize it. You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to. If you don't like something, you don't like it, and you don't have to explain why. I see that all the time. So many people explain why they do certain things, and you don't have to explain. All you have to, it is what it is. Either you're on board or you're not on board, and that's the end of it. Stop laughing when they belittle you and call it a joke. They are testing your waters. Yeah, I see people like, it's not funny. Some things is not funny. It's not funny at all. So don't let people, it's one of those things of people who are manipulators or narcissists, or they have some type of mental health issue. So it's not a joke. Some things is not a game. When it comes to you, you should be taking it very personal. What happens to you and for you. There's certain things. Set your boundaries, guys. Set your boundaries and let people respect you. Hey, Afrogenic, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you're having a great evening. Join in on this discussion. Let us know a time where you were disrespected and how you handled it. Yeah, so I'm going to go into number 4. Number 4 of this. Number 4, use mirroring to your advantage. Mirroring. So people don't just mirror disrespectful behaviors, they mirror positive ones as well. So be a leader and redefine your relationship with a person by acting professionally and respectfully. Respect yourself. Nothing sends a more powerful message about what you believe is respectful and acceptable than when you refuse to stoop to their level. If you're experiencing this from a supervisor, then assume your lack of retaliation is because you're intimidated by them. You may have to indicate what you're doing by saying things like, because I always want to be respected, and I know you do too, I'm going to respond in this way. Or I can tell this is upsetting you. And I understand why you're angry, but I want you to respond calmly so we can talk it out. We have to remember that if the situation is getting out of control, we have to take the control back. So it's just as simple as saying, hey, let's talk about this in a calm and rational way. This can signal that you're making an intentional shift in the conversation. Out of control, back to control. All right? So this is the last point, guys. Prepare an assertive boundary setting response. Another way to use mirroring to your advantage is to set boundaries. It is likely that the other person's disrespectful behavior is their attempt to get their needs met in an unprofessional way. So you have to demonstrate how professional you are. You You have to show how professional you are. Has nothing to do with other people. It has nothing to do with them. Remember, when things are out of control, you have to take the control back. Okay? And if you don't have much experience on how to be professional, there are certain things that you have to do. Setting clear and assertive boundaries. Writing out what you want to say ahead of time. Talk it over and speak with a trusted friend. The most direct way to stop the cycle of disrespect is to refuse to copy disrespectful behavior. We need to resist the impulse to retaliate by taking the time to be calm. Because when we're calm, we're thinking rationally, reasonably, okay? Don't let people take you outside of that. Don't let people manipulate and maneuver the situation. Remember, you are in control of your life. Don't allow people to take that away from you and make you change from who you really are. Remember, out of the abundance of our heart, our mouth speaks. So you have to remember, what are my intentions? What are my desires when I show up? Because when those words come out, that's it. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. One of the first things God helped me to deal with before giving me the assignment is pride. There's still an atom of pride in a disrespectful person. My opinion. Yeah, I believe that 100%, Afrogenic. There's so much people who will never humble themselves. They think that, they're the best, that their opinion is the only opinion, that they can do and say whatever they want without consequences. They're not accountable for their actions, and that's not the case. Trust me, if you don't humble yourself, somebody will, if God does not do it first. Thank you so much for that comment. Yes, Sugar Love, remove yourself immediately. That's important, especially if it's one of those toxic kind of relationships. It doesn't always have to be romantic, but people who are yelling at you, calling you obscenities, people who don't make you feel good. That's not good for you. That's toxic. Remove yourself from that. Hey, Calvin, welcome in. Not being disrespectful. I'm still a student of your community. Oh, man. True. Yes, Afrogenic. So true. Yeah, guys. That was the information that I had. Let me go over it one more time so I can tell you all of the steps. Okay, there's 5 steps. It's called 5 steps to end the cycle of disrespect. Number 1, determine that the disrespectful behavior will end with you. Number 2, take some time away before you respond. Number 3, face the fact that you have needs to be met. Number 4, use mirroring to your advantage. Number 5, prepare an assertive boundary setting response. Yes, all of those things are important. And if you missed any of it, I'm going to have this information linked. Oh, thank you so much, Afrogenic. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. I just got home from my job. Thank you so much for coming, Calvin. I hope you're doing good now. This is where I do believe love is conditional. There must always be respect. Yes, and we have to learn to draw the line. We have to draw the line. We have to, respect ourselves. We have to love ourselves enough that when something is not serving us, when something is not making us feel good about ourselves, we have to love ourselves enough to say, This is not good for me. This is hazardous to me. I deserve better. I respect myself. So time to go. Sayonara. Right? And so we have to do, and so it's not just as easy as that, because sometimes the people who are maybe disrespectful to you are the people that will, like in your family, because I don't know what it is, but sometimes family members think that there are no rules that apply to them. And it's not true. There's rules to every single person. It doesn't matter, from your mother to your coworker to your significant other, whoever it is in your life. There's always rules, boundaries, and everybody deserves respect. But respect is earned. If somebody is not giving you respect, it's time for you to back away, withdraw, delete all of that. So once again, thank you so much, Afrogenic, for that donation. So yeah, have you guys ever experienced a time where you were disrespected in some type of way? How did you handle it? What did you do to deal with it? I know most of the time when something comes at you, especially disrespect, the first thing is to want to attack. You want to say things, call people out their name, use some profane words, but no, not when you come into self-love, self-respect. I deserve to respect myself. Don't let people make you come out of who you are. Don't let people, make you say something later that you'll regret, because what you say shows who you are. It's a reflection. So if somebody says something to you, even if it's unkind, you have to show people. You have to show people who you are inside, even if maybe they're not on your level. Maybe sometimes people will never get to your level. They don't understand why it's important to respect others. That's okay. They don't have to understand, but it is what it is. We have to love and respect ourselves. We have to do that. You have to do that first. Don't get me to lying. I never know. Yeah, and that's one of the things, I think is one of the things that we have to learn, like how much you're going to take. You can set those boundaries. There's some people who will take a lot. Some people it's only a little bit. I am definitely one of the persons that once somebody says that they're going to do something for me, be there for me, or they say something that was not true, or they talked about me behind my back, they're gossiping about me, something like that. Those are one of the things where I have to back away from those people, because they're not good for me. Because we all know that we are a reflection of who we hang around. Who you associate with, who you are friends with shows who you are. So if you have people around you and they're disrespecting you, don't call that love. That's not called love, because love is kind. Love is patient. Love does not look out for its own interests. Love never fails. If we look at it that way, everything is going to be okay. But you have to maintain those standards. Nobody can make the standards of what you want but you. People can only come so far, and then you have to let them know, okay, you crossed the line. You've crossed where the boundary is, and it's time for me to go. The first phase of this issue is you not having identity crisis. Know who you are so no one can describe you with wrong adjectives, right? Yep, I agree with the Afrogenic 100%. That usually is the issue. A person, that's what I was talking about, the mirror reflection. People are only going to reflect what you put out there. So if you continuously put out disrespect out there in the atmosphere, that's what you're going to receive. I was extremely firm when disrespect happened on the job with a boss. Sometimes you have to stand up to folks, otherwise they will continue. They are like that because they haven't been checked before. That's what it is, Miss Full Roller and the chat. Some people you have to be like, no. It's like, I don't know if you're having a bad day. I don't know what it is that you're going through, but it ends with me. You have to start that from the beginning. You're going to respect me. Even if you don't respect yourself, you will respect me. And we have to do that. We have to check people. You have to check them. Like, I don't know what you're going through. I don't know what kind of situation, what's happening, but not me. Don't ever try it. Uh-oh, what's going on here in the chat? Did I miss something? What did I miss? What did Edward Smart say? Oh, I got it. Y'all are a mess. Y'all having ice cream? Who's having ice cream? Calvin? I think Calvin came in with asking for ice cream. Yeah, that's so important. It's important that we check people. You got to check people so that people will know where they stand. Fantastic, Calvin. Thank you so much for asking. Yeah, we have to check people. You have to set boundaries, and you have to let people know. You have to let people know. Got to let people know where you stand. You got to let people know where you stand, because if you don't, what is the saying? If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for nothing. So if you don't have a set standard of what you want, what are your goals, what are you being driven to do, you don't know who you are, you don't have self-love for yourself. If you know, it all comes to your foundation, the core of who you are. When you know who you are, when you know that you love yourself, when you know you respect yourself, and you know that you're not alone, and you know who you serve, and you know who protects you and is there for you, everything outside of that, you can't stand for. Everything outside of that. So people who don't understand it and know it, you have to let them realize this is how it's going to be. This is what I stand for, and that's it. And that's just what you have to do. Because if you don't let people know that, it's hard to recover. It's hard to backtrack, because if you were always allowing people to do something and then out of the blue, you just be like, no, you're going to confuse them. So set your boundaries from the beginning of every relationship. You know, this is how you're going to treat me. You're going to respect me. You're going to respect my time. And then that's it. Once someone gets away with disrespect, even a little, they will keep pushing boundaries. That's 100% true facts. 100%. I agree. Because if you say you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So don't even allow it from the beginning. Once you see something is happening and you don't like it, anything, if you don't like it, your screen, my screen is frozen. You guys are seeing me frozen? It doesn't look frozen to me. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming, Afrogenic, and thank you so much for the donation. I hope that your family is doing well, and have a great evening. Yes, guys, I just wanted to come and bring you guys this topic to encourage you guys, uplift you guys. I know It's so hard. It's so hard, especially if you're going through situations and maybe people are being disrespectful to you. People can say and do things that's very unkind, and it hurts. It hurts when people say and do things unkind, but you have to take control of the situation. You have to take control of it. Always Afrogenic. Always we thank God. Always. Yes, have a good night. Yes, guys. So I just wanted to encourage you guys, if anybody is going through a situation and you're dealing with disrespect, remember the first thing to do, you have to let them know you're not going to allow this. You're not going to allow it. Say, I don't know if you're having a bad day. I don't know what you're going through, but I cannot allow this behavior because it's being disrespectful to me, right? Respect yourself, and you have to let people know that they are going to respect you as well. I do have a tendency to explain myself a lot once I decide to cut ties. Can't nobody say they didn't know why. Yeah, well, that's good that you do that, because sometimes people will just cut people off 100%. So I understand. At least you let them know. Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate you coming. I appreciate everybody who is here for the discussion. Up next is going to be the Outstanding Featured Channel Member Show, and it's going to start in exactly 7 minutes. I thank everybody for coming. Thank you so much, Donna, just being real. It's a good topic. I love these type of topics, and I hope you have a great night, Donna. Yes, it's going to be coming up soon. So I just wanted to talk to you guys a minute about my work from home business, CTFO, which is Changing the Future Outcome. And it is a home-based business. It's free to join. The link is always in the description box of every video, or you can reach out to me on Instagram. My Instagram is _BestLifeCrew. I thank you guys for coming. I hope you have found something in this discussion that encouraged you, that supported you, that maybe you got to vent, get some things off your chest. I'm here to support you guys. And I thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a great evening. Thank you so much for coming to the Sunday Talk Show. Tomorrow is going to be a What's in My Purse, and it's going to be a premiere. Starting with myself, it's going to be myself, Boss Life Online, Pandy's Hair Candy, and more. Be Amazing Sylvia and Grandma Faye LN. So I would love for you guys to come to the premiere tomorrow and find out what's in our bags. Thank you guys for coming, and have a great evening, and see you at the Outstanding Featured Channel Member Show. Okay, guys, have a great evening. Bye-bye.